After your committees are in place, it's time for that first meeting. Let's talk about what makes a successful church meeting. First, obviously, make sure you communicate with everybody to make sure they know when and where you're going to meet. Some of you will choose to have regularly scheduled meetings, whether it's once a month or once every other month on a particular day. Still, others of you will have meetings as needed. Make sure, though, that whenever it is you have a meeting, you let your committee members know at least a week in advance when the date of your meeting is, the date and time, and how you will be meeting, whether it will be in person at church or virtually or both. And if it is virtual, make sure you let them know that you'll either be on the church Zoom address or on your own personal address. Clarify as much as you possibly can a week ahead of time so that people will know what to expect. Which brings us to the second point, and that is that every meeting needs an agenda. We encourage chairs to send that agenda out with the meeting notice at least a week ahead of time. And we also advise you that the agendas are those things that can help organize the meetings. For example, if you think you have it in your head, but you get distracted from a discussion that is brought up unexpectedly, then you might, if you don't have something written down, forget a very important point that you want to discuss with your committee. So having a written agenda is really an important thing. Church Life Committee has a comprehensive agenda format if you need an example. On their agenda, they have space for all ideas and a place for a particular person to take responsibility for moving forward with an idea that the whole committee thinks is important to go forward with. There's also a place called a parking lot in their agenda. When people come up with ideas that they think would be great for the church, but nobody wants to take lead in it, and they also don't know whether or not um, they have the time to do this in this year's church calendar. So, having a parking lot as a part of your agenda is a great idea. We've also found in the first meeting of the year of your committee that it's important to have introductions of one another. I know that gets to be kind of old and trite, but don't assume that everybody in our church knows everybody else. You can make it fun, and if you need ideas about that, call Bob Hearn or any of us, and we'll give you some great ideas about how to do icebreakers for introductions. In addition to introductions, we feel that going over your committee's mission statement and the scope of responsibility is important so that everybody knows what the expectations for the committee work ahead is to be. We've also found it's helpful for your committee to go over that the last meeting of the year too, because things change. Priorities change, goals change, maybe even missions change. And if you as a committee would edit and amend and put that in your file that you turn into the next leader, that would be really helpful. Which goes to the next and final item, and that is we would like you to keep up with all your agendas, and if there are any minutes, that would be helpful. We have in the past had hardbound notebooks that we share from one year to the next. I also think it would be helpful now to begin making digital files. And the church has a Google Drive that we are going to be moving to saving our files on. And Allison will talk about that a little later. But it's important for us to know what we've done, where we've been, and also where we're going with your notes that you make. These meetings don't have to be dull and droll. Remember, we're doing Jesus's work, y'all. And it's something that people want to do to make a difference, to make our church stronger and better, and to make our world better, to hear the good news, to be the good news. So, with that in mind, enjoy your committee meetings and the work that you will do.